Hi friends, hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to be building a bridge that looks like it belongs in Bowser's castle. Um, it's like they say, where there's a ravine, we got a bridge over it in style. Anyway, without further delay, let's get into it. So we're back again with a little commentary post after the fact. Glad you could join me as always. This week I just kind of had the desire to build a bridge. I found this neat little ravine at the top of the mountain that I had been building on. And I wanted to build a bridge. You know, nothing like too grand, too crazy, just kind of a bridge with arches and a single support was kind of my vision going into it. And so, yeah, here I'm just kind of laying the foundation for what I would do, or what would kind of make up the foundation of the bridge, believe it or not. Uh, so I did see this really cool building technique. Unfortunately, I'm remiss to say I don't recall who it was. It was a very short video I saw on social media, but it basically involved using walls intermittently separated by regular blocks. So you kind of get this like really cool pattern where the there's a bit of depth, right? The block will kind of pop out of the wall, and it just looks really cool. It's I'm sure you could use it in a lot of other builds as well, but I wanted to use it, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to use it in the support. So the central support, and I went for quartz here. No real surprise, I think, for those of you that may have seen any of my other videos. Um, and stone brick for the walls, which I think also shouldn't be a huge surprise. But I'm sure that you could take a variety of walls and different block types and palettes and use this building technique in a lot of really cool and interesting ways. Um, and, you know, I feel like. So for a long time, I had kind of left the building scene in Minecraft. I did a lot of building in kind of the 1.12 era. Um, I built a lot of really cool stuff on a world me and my friend played on, and um, I'm just kind of coming back to it now, and it's so cool seeing like some of the stuff that people are capable of making in modern Minecraft with the different um, techniques, like building techniques, uh, block palettes, you know, you name it. I think just the general standard as far as building is concerned in Minecraft has gone up so much since last I really involved myself. And it's just been very cool to kind of learn new stuff. Um, and yeah, so I, you know, I think it's probably one of my favorite parts about doing this is learning new stuff that I otherwise would have never thought of myself. But yeah, so here I'm just working on the arches. So I had the idea that underneath the bridge it would be these two arches kind of, I'd say, loosely inspired by some of the older Roman bridges, if you've ever seen them. Like I believe the old London Bridge was originally Roman, if I'm not mistaken. Um, the one that goes over the River Thames, but don't quote me on that. uh, So I kind of had an idea as far as that, and having the arches support the underneath of the frame, and then having a flat crossing section over it. Um, Initially, I had thought about doing maybe more of a low-lying curve on top as well, but I eventually abandoned that. Or I think it was more I didn't remember, to be completely honest. So, yeah, here I'm just trying to find my favorite way of integrating the base of the arches into the surroundings, and then filling in the space between. So, I just tried to see what I liked better between cobblestone walls and deep slate brick, and I ended up going with deep slate just because I feel like the contrast is a lot stronger. Um, I don't know. You can let me know how you feel. I think cobblestone would have also looked really nice, but like I've done kind of a brick and cobblestone bridge before, so I wanted to do something a little different. Um, and it did kind of turn out to look like a bridge straight out of Bowser's Castle, as I stated in the intro, but that wasn't super intentional. It just kind of happened. But I think it looked pretty cool regardless. The only thing I think I may go back and change is these lights on the sides, and maybe changing the quartz blocks for cobblestone or something. But, I think that's another thing I like to talk about quite a bit, is that no build is ever really truly finished for me. It's more a process of, figuring out what the general shape is going to look like, and then tweaking certain aspects about it over time. And, eventually you get it to a point where you're super happy with it, and maybe you're no longer making adjustments to it. But I think there's always the ability to make a build just that much better, And so I think there are maybe some things I would go back and change about this build, but obviously, like, I do these on stream with um, viewers, and it's a lot of fun. So a lot of it's kind of spur of the moment, choices and how I design things, and what kind of building techniques we use. So it very much just depends on the day, right? And I think for that fact, it changes a lot from stream to stream as far as what I want to build, what kind of decisions I'm going to make as far as placement of the build itself. And I don't know that I've made a whole lot of changes as far as color palette's concerned. Um, but yeah, so here I'm just kind of outlining the bottom, and I thought to do this kind of cool stripe pattern underneath that I think turned out really nice. And as you'll see in the future, I continue this with the roof as well. I'm beginning to think that maybe stripes like this might kind of be a hallmark of the mountain town that I'm building, Because, typically towns, cities, you name it, will have like a coat of arms in like certain things. So, for instance, in Amsterdam, you see the triple X everywhere, and it's in regards to the city of Amsterdam, from what I understand. So kind of something like that, where maybe the stripes would be that thing, I guess, that you kind of see every once in a while in the city if you're looking for it. I don't know, just an idea, obviously. And yeah, so here I'm doing the top of the bridge, obviously the section where you actually walk across, and going with spruce planks to start, just kind of lay the foundation of how it's going to look. And obviously I love spruce planks, but I thought the walkway was just a little bland, it being just a flat platform, basically. I think the bridge up to this point did look pretty nice, and I was pretty pleased with it, but this part particularly, I thought it needed a little bit of finesse, of flair, if you will. So yeah, I went with slabs on the side, again, just to kind of give it a little bit of depth, you know, a little bit of variation. And then I'd eventually put another block on the sides as well, as you'll see here in a second. I went for the smooth stone brick because I hadn't really utilized it at all up to this point, and I just kind of wanted an excuse to use something different. You know, I really like a lot of those stone bricks, stone blocks in this game. I don't really think there's a bad one as far as what I've seen. It's just about how you use them, really. Yeah, so here I think I begin to start on kind of the frame above, and this was the part that I struggled with the most, well and away, with the entire build. So initially I had this idea that I wanted it to be kind of a singular arch, where, you know, it'd kind of wrap all the way across. Instead, you know, obviously we have the dual arches underneath with the support that separates them, but here on top I wanted a singular arch that went from one side to the other. And well, I think the idea was good. It just ended up looking a bit too tall. I don't know if you'd agree with me, but I think I wanted it to be a little bit more low-lying, given that it's a bit of a smaller bridge. You know, I think a larger bridge, obviously high supports would make a lot of sense. But with something of this size, I think you could get away with just the lower archways and have it look, you know, natural. So, yeah, I struggled with this for a bit, and eventually decided to kind of scrap the idea entirely. You know, even looking back, I don't know that those looked that bad. You know, when you compare it to the size of the arches underneath, I think it could have looked pretty nice, actually. But I decided against it. Again, kind of a spur of the moment decision, right? As is my typical MO. So we move here to another idea I had, which was, why don't we make it a suspension bridge, right? We have the single support in the center of the bridge that kind of goes all the way down. And it would make sense for that support to continue upward and connect at the top and make a suspension bridge. I think suspension bridges are pretty cool, but as you'll see here in a few minutes, I abandoned this idea as well because I just didn't think it looked particularly good. And it kind of made me wish that quartz walls were a block in the game. You know, I understand, like, there are not nearly as many options with walls as there are blocks, but I think given the amount of different kinds of quartz blocks that there are, it'd be nice to have quartz walls as well. So in the absence of that, I had to use more quartz blocks, right? And it just kind of looked too, I don't know, wrong, I guess is the best way I could put it. It just didn't look right to me. And here I was kind of experimenting with bringing those quartz blocks out to make it look like they connected directly to the suspension supports. I don't know what you call them. But yeah, so here I just went with, 45-degree angle lines of blocks, and I think from a distance they looked fine, honestly, but up close I was not a fan. Up close I was like, yeah, these just are not doing it for me. So I completely abandoned the suspension bridge idea, and I went with probably the most simple solution, which was just to emulate the archways underneath at the same intervals and then put them on top. And it's kind of a process I had done for a bridge I built a long time ago, on a world that I don't think even exists anymore. But I really liked it, and I just kind of wanted to pay homage to probably my favorite bridge I've ever built, which is, it was this idea where it was a lot of these smaller arches on top and underneath, and at intervals the archway would end and a new one would begin, and then they'd all be kind of enclosed by this greater structure, I suppose, greater support, as you'll see. And I think it turned out really nice. I think previous me made a pretty good decision on that. I think of the ideas I used, this was probably the best one. Again, for a smaller bridge, I think it really works. So here I am, just kind of continuing the support in the middle, right? Because I still wanted to keep that idea. I thought it was pretty neat with the suspension bridge and all. So I wanted to keep that, which is why I made sure there was enough room with the arches and literally just emulated them. Like, took one from the bottom and put it on top, and there you have it, So, yeah, then I went back to the deep slate walls, deep slate brick walls, fill in the gaps, which it is a really nice block that contrasts well, but I suppose it has the added effect of looking like it's from Bowser's Castle. So, I mean, it's a bit intimidating, I guess, as far as like a palette choice is concerned, but I keep going back to it like it is like a mountain town, and oftentimes you're gonna see these, in my belief anyway, you're going to see these buildings made out of more resistant material so that they last longer, Like, wood generally does not last long in very harsh climates, whether that be heat or cold. But stone can last an eternity, really. So, here, I was going back to that original idea of the stripes, as I had mentioned previously, and I just kind of wanted to add a little bit of depth. So originally I made those lines the blocks, and it was like, kind of a nice opportunity to use slabs, because I hadn't used the slabs up to this point. And yeah, I was pretty happy with it. like generally speaking, you're never really gonna look at the roof, right? Unless you're going to like a historical monument, I don't know, like the Sistine Chapel or something, right? You're not gonna look at the roof, but it's these little things that I think really I enjoy doing. So here I am putting these like beams up at every interval, and I was just trying to decide between the deep slate and the andesite, which I think if I had gone with the deep slate, it really would have looked straight out of Bowser's Castle. So I went with the andesite just to make it look a little homier. Not that I think this bridge looks homey, right? Like you can be the judge, right? I'd still walk across it, I think. I'd walk across that bridge, right? Um yeah, so here just continuing those stripes. And then at this point we kind of had finished the general frame of the bridge, and it was just down to adding little details here and there. Like I wanted to add trapdoors over the lights here. And that's kind of another thing. There really isn't a dark trapdoor with breaks in its design. And I kind of noticed like a lack of that, right? Obviously, at the darkest trapdoor that they have with breaks in its design is the oak trapdoor. And I think it can look nice at times, but I don't know. I suppose I'm just having second thoughts about utilizing it in that way. So I think it'd be nice if there was maybe I suppose like trapdoors are only made out of wood, right? So it'd be nice if the dark oak trapdoor didn't look like a chocolate bar, maybe. I don't really know what the solution is, I guess you'd have to add a darker tree and then another one. So yeah, here I'm just adding a little bit of decor, right? Again, these planter designs suggested by one of my viewers. I'd used them in a previous build, and I wanted to use them again because I just thought they were a really cool idea. So initially it was spruce leaves, but then I saw the azalea leaves, and I was like, whoa, those look really nice. I want to use them. So we ended up going with those instead. And at this point, I had almost finished the build. It wasn't like a super lengthy build, but it was a nice one, right? It was a good one. I had a lot of enjoyment doing it. At this point, I just kind of went back through, destroyed some of the lighting, and fixed it by placing lanterns at every interval where there wasn't a beam. So, yeah, I mean, do a quick little pan around, right? But outside of that, that's pretty much the build. So you have to let me know what you think. As always, if you happen to see any other buildings in my videos that you would like to see built, I have videos for all of them in a playlist. Hopefully I remember to either put a link for it there in the top right, or it will be at the end of the video and in the description if that interests you. But yeah, as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Love you all. It's been an awesome year. So yeah, until next time, take it easy, everyone. Peace.